Metal Yearbook, 1987. Glory, Grime, and the Gathering Storm. So 1987. Hairspray was flammable, the riffs were nuclear, and MTV still played music. This was the year when metal ruled the airwaves and the underground, before the fractures turned into full-blown genre wars. Glam was at its most decadent. Thrash was sharpening its teeth. Death metal was still underground, but it was coming, just wait. And beneath the party anthems and power ballads, a darker reality was taking shape.
On December 23rd,
this is the year metal got louder,
the rock world
glossier,
lost one
and
of
way
its
more
most
complex.
Figures. Mötley Crüe's bassist and chief songwriter, Nikki Sixx, was at the peak of his career and the depths of his heroin addiction. Living the excesses of fame, fortune, and debauchery, Sixx found himself on the brink of death after an overdose that led to him being declared clinically dead for 2 full minutes. This moment, both terrifying and iconic, became one of the most infamous stories in rock history and inspired one of the band's biggest hits.
It's also the year where tragedy, burnout, and brilliance collided head-on. Chapter 1. The mainstream is metal. 1987 was peak glam. And no, that's not an insult. These bands didn't just wear makeup. They painted the world with guitar solos and stadium hooks. Whitesnake dropped their self-titled album and conquered with Here I Go Again. Here I go again on my own. And Is This Love? Re-recorded, radio polished, mega successful. Def Leppard's Hysteria was a 7-single monster. A production miracle after Rick Allen's 1984 car crash left him with one arm.
December 31st, 1984, an afternoon drive in that Corvette would change the course of Rick's life. The crash happened fast. It was a violent rollover.
A member of a British rock group is tonight fighting for his life in a Sheffield hospital.
As the car rolled, the seatbelt came undone, and the seatbelt took my arm as I was flying out through the car.
His right arm broken, his left arm gone. This picture taken of Rick the first day out of the hospital. It would be the first day of the rest.
His comeback? Fucking legendary. Poison's Look What the Cat Dragged In had glam fans reaching for eyeliner and skeptics reaching for earplugs.
Ooh,
love them or hate them,
I want.
they were absolutely huge. And Mötley Crüe was riding the storm from Theater of Pain.
Probably.
But they were a ticking time
Deep Purple,
bomb.
Aerosmith, bands like that. I used to play that.
Behind the glitter and the groupies, substance abuse, label pressure, and burnout. The party was raging. But just wait, because the cleanup bill was coming. Pop culture was leaning in hard. MTV's Headbangers Ball debuted that year, giving metalheads a sacred weekend ritual. Films like The Lost Boys.
In
know where Hudson's Bluff is? I can't beat your bike. You just have to try and keep up.
And Hellraiser. Mirrored the excess in horror themes brewing in heavier subgenres. Tipper Gore and the PMRC were still on their moral crusade, which ironically gave bands more press.
Incest, there's songs about rape, thrill killing, sadomasochism. There's a song that goes, quote, not a woman but a whore, I can taste the hate. Well, now I'm
Chapter
killing.
2, Thrash Catches Fire. So while glam ruled the TV, thrash ruled the tape trading underground.
I think I started around 87 or something with tape trading. It was all over. Once I started hearing bands like Pap Smear, Master, early Death like demos and stuff like that, it was just like I knew that my future was in creating the most brutal stuff possible.
It was a very abrupt transition. I was like,
you had Anthrax among the living. Humor, horror, politics, fast, technical, catchy as hell. This is Anthrax in their prime. Then there's Testament, The Legacy, a Bay Area classic. This thing was raw, dark, and smart. Skipping this is like skipping Metallica's Ride the Lightning. You had Creator, Terrible Certainty, Germany's Answer to Slayer, Blitzkrieg riffs, nihilistic vibes, and razor wire solos. Overkill taking over. East Coast thrashers with punk grit. This album was loud, it was mean, and underestimated. Death Angel started making waves, showing that even teens from the suburbs could melt your fucking face. Thrash in 1987 wasn't just a sound. This was an identity. Denim jackets, patches, no ballads, no bullshit. And as Metallica toured their asses off post Master of Puppets, fans started wondering what could come next. Chapter 3, The Underground Gets Grim. Death metal wasn't born in 1987, but it was conceived in getting its teeth.
Taking thrash metal as a base, B-movies with monsters, zombies, and gore influenced the creation of death metal, dealing with themes ranging from political and social criticism of death to violence, gore, illness, and even blasphemy, Satanism, and anti-Christianity. One of the earliest examples is Possessed, a San Francisco band that started with a heavier form of thrash metal than their contemporaries. Their 1985 debut, Seven Churches, is often considered the first death metal album, influencing more extreme bands in the U.S.
Death was in the studio working on what would become Leprosy. Napalm Death dropped Scum, a grindcore grenade that redefined heavy. Possessed, Repulsion, and Slaughter were pushing extreme metal into terrifying territories. In the U.S., Florida became a breeding ground. In Sweden, kids were discovering distortion pedals and evil tunings. It was raw, it was ugly, and it wasn't welcome at glam's table, but it wasn't trying to be. This was music for outsiders who felt like metal was losing its danger. Chapter 4, Tragedy in Transition. 1987 wasn't all glory. It was also marked by loss. Cliff Burton had died just months before in late 1986. The scene still reeled from it. Metallica toured relentlessly, trying to process and push forward. Fans felt the gap. Cliff was more than just a bassist. He was the spirit. Andy Gibb, although not metal but culturally relevant, died at 30.
Andy Gibb was born on March 5, 1958 in Stretford, England. His three older brothers were in the popular band called the Bee Gees. When he was 6 months old, his family emigrated to Australia. In 1976, he got married and moved to California. He became hooked on cocaine. They had a daughter, but they divorced in 1978. His solo album called Flowing Rivers was released in 1977 and went platinum. The song called I Just Want to Be Your Everything, written by his brother Barry, went to number 1. Joe Walsh played on a couple of songs. He became the first ever solo artist in the US to have their first 3 singles reach number 1. He started dating actress Victoria Principal in 1981. She got tired of his drug use and gave him an ultimatum.
It reminded people that the party lifestyle wasn't all glitter. Addiction and overdose rumors surrounded many glam bands. Some would survive it, others wouldn't. This was the year the cost of excess became visible. The hangover was coming, and some bands wouldn't make it out. Chapter 5: Culture Clashes and the Sound of Change. Metal in 1987 wasn't just one thing. It was divided. Some fans lived for high screams and sing-along choruses. Others wanted growls and blast beats. Hardcore was bleeding into metal, thanks to bands like DRI. Cro-Mags, and Corrosion of Conformity. Outside the pit, pop was mutating too. Michael Jackson dropped Bad. U2 went cinematic with the Joshua Tree. And Public Enemy released Yo, Bum Rush the Show. The walls were breaking. Genres were mixing. Metal was either going to adapt or get left behind. Chapter 6: Albums that defined 1987. Some of the year's biggest and most underrated releases? Well, of course, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. This was the filthiest, most real debut of the decade. Not glam, not punk, just danger. Then there's King Diamond Abigail. Metal horror cinema, falsettos, storytelling, pure nightmare fuel. Celtic Frost, Into the Pandemonium. Operatic weirdness, the sound of a band exploding, genre rules. Savage Grace, Master of Disguise. Speed metal with flair, criminally overlooked. You got Halloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1. This was the start of power metal as a global force. But then there's the cult Electric. Not metal, but close enough. Groovy, hard rock that hit with denim-clad fists. So my final thoughts. The high before the fall. 1987 was metal's final inhale before the big exhale. It was triumphant, excessive, creative, and quietly unstable. The cracks were forming, the genres were splitting, and under the noise a reckoning was coming. But god damn, what a year to be alive. Wearing too much leather and arguing about Slayer versus Cinderella in the school cafeteria. So next time on Metal Yearbook, we're not going to go into 1988, when thrash evolves, death metal rises, glam starts cracking under the weight of its own hairspray, and the underground about to erupt. But we are going to go